Welcome to Module 2 of Nutrition 3300 Cultural Nutrition. This module will cover Chapter 1 of your textbook and is an introduction to the subject of food and culture. You may want to print the accompanying PowerPoint for note-taking purposes prior to viewing this lecture. It is located separately in Chapter 1 module. America is a changing demographic and has always been so. Defining American food and resolving who is an American is often difficult to answer. The population of America includes an indigenous people of Native Americans as well as immigrants from Europe, Latin America, the Middle East, China, and other Asian countries. For example, the fastest and largest growing ethnic groups in America are currently from Latin America. Each American ethnic, religious, or regional group has its own culturally based food habits. The new immigrants interact with the overlying American culture, and each, in turn, ends up changing the other. Current U.S. census and demographic data shows that 1 in 4 Americans is of non-European heritage. In addition, 1 in every 10 residents is foreign-born. This does not include data on some white ethnic populations, religious groups, or regional groups such as the Amish, for instance. Latinos are currently the largest and fastest-growing non-European ethnic group, while Asians are second. Of course, each ethnic, religious, or regional group has its own culturally based food habits, which is what this course is all about. Food is any substance that provides the nutrients necessary to maintain life and growth when ingested. But we don't just eat food, we eat meals, and we develop culturally significant ways of using our foods in cooking and other cultural practices. These foods habits become defined and codified within a culture. This is basically the difference between eating and feeding. We humans eat. We don't feed like animals do. Eating involves gathering, hunting, and cultivating plants, raising livestock, and cooking. It also involves the use of special utensils and manners while we are eating. We also share our food with others, which is something that we all know animals are not very good at. Food habits include all the ways in which humans use food, including everything from how it is selected, obtained, and distributed to who prepares it, serves it, and eats it. As you know, we humans are omnivorous. We can consume and digest a wide selection of plants and animals, and because of this, we can adapt easily to almost all earthly environments. No single food provides all the nutrition we need for survival, though. We also need to be flexible, yet cautious, to prevent ourselves from eating something that might be harmful to us. The omnivore's paradox refers to a natural attraction we have to experiences in foods that occurs alongside a preference for the familiar. The dilemma is that we need to experiment, yet be cautious at the same time. This creates a sort of paradox, where we have an attraction to new foods, but a preference for familiar foods at the same time. What foods we eat is of special significance because eating involves a personal incorporation, and thus is a personal reflection of who we are, as in the phrase, "you are what you eat." We often stereotype people who eat in certain ways and may even assign moral implications to food choices by referring to certain foods as being good or bad. We generally adopt the same food preferences as those we trust or value within our family or peer group. We demonstrate belongingness, status, and self-realization through food choices based on what we have learned from our culture. Thus, food is often used as a form of self-identity. Food has a great deal to do with our cultural identity. What one eats can define who one is or isn't, what one's religious beliefs are, and ethnicity. These foods are generally introduced during childhood and become our comfort foods throughout life. Food choice also helps identify persons who are not a member of a certain group. Those who eat pork, for example, are identified right away as not being Jewish, Muslim, or Seventh-day Adventists, since these religions all forbid its consumption. Etiquette, which are the customs or rules governing our food behaviors, also tells others a great deal about who we are. Food can also be a status symbol and indicate a person's position or ranking in a cultural group or their economic social standing. For example, foods like caviar and high-quality alcoholic drinks generally rank as status foods. They insinuate a certain type of social interaction and commensalism, which has to do with class relationships and who can dine together.